Hello, everyone. I am an ambassador for mental emotional wellness. Mental wellness is a group that's out of, if it's Oklahoma or Nebraska, but it's someplace up there where they develop that, and that's there. I'm not going to tread on their real name or their copyright, but I am an ambassador for emotional wellness. My name is David. Where I live doesn't matter, or my age. Well, yeah, that matters because there is no way I can live the experience of things I have without it living as long as I have. And with that, I've explained to you lots of different things about living on the psych ward. Most times, these little wards, these places that you live, they are meant as just a go between until they can get you into a regular routine to see a doctor and under a doctor's care. So the psych wards are not meant to be a long haul. They're meant to be sort of like 3 to 7 days at most. Some people can spend years on it, especially if they're court ordered. That is the worst type of stay on a psych ward is be court ordered because then the staff people know that you have no choice. You have to do what they say because your stay on a psych ward depends upon their evaluation of you, not the doctors, even though the doctor has the last say. But he reads all these daily reports. He doesn't read them per se day by day by day. What he does is he might come in day by day, but he'll take the reports and read them in a span. He might start one day and read it. Then he goes 3 or 4 days down and see the reports. And he compares the differences to see what your progress is. And that's how the doctor does. And like I said, from the orderlies that do a report all the way to the charge nurse, the head charge nurse, does their report on you. They all have to do an evaluation on the patients that's in there. The orderlies are assigned certain patients that they have to associate with. Not all of them. And it's not every day. It changes the routine that keeps them impersonal, but personal at the same time. And they don't need a notepad. What they do is they remember certain actions. They'll say something and find out your reaction, or they may do something deliberately to make you angry to see how you're going to react. And that's what they want. They want certain snippets from you, or clippings from you, that they can write down in short report every day. And they do this right before they go home. Because they'll be talking to you and say, well, I need to go write my report up so I can go home with something like that. And no, that they're writing down each and every one of them. And they'll pull down a paper that's just for you and they'll write that down what they found out. They do that for each one of them and they compile it, give it to the charge nurse. The charge nurse takes and she attaches that patient to her evaluation of you for that day. And they'll go all the way down from waking up to eating to medication taking and your reaction, how you took it, how fast, and all like that. They'll evaluate different aspects of the day. Did you go to some type of group today? Whatever it is, type of group it is going on. Did you participate? What was your attitude there? What was your mood like there? And these are things that they evaluate. Now, I'm going to talk to you today about my first time, first experience on a psych ward. And I'm going to tell you it was in 1972 on Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida. That's pretty specific. I think I was like 14, 13, 14 years old when I first broke down. Now, at the time, they did not have separation, certain age children from the rest of the patients there. They just put them together, even though they try to keep them apart. The charge nurses and orderlies usually had between 30 and 50 patients in there at a time. And when there's only a staff of like 5 or 6 people there, it makes it hard for them to keep control of every aspect. And you have to understand too, sometimes these wards, they had no separation for men and women. They might have it for sleeping quarters, but the general quarters out in the uh, day room, what they call it, where you go and you sit down, you watch TV, you play games, read books, and things like that. That's the day room. And once you wake up in the morning and you have your breakfast, you're not supposed to go back to your room and lay down without permission because they want to know where you are and what's going on. But sometimes when you have your first medication or stuff, which I was at Jackson Memorial, my first taste of Thorazine. Now, when you first go into there, they're going to medicate you with Thorazine, and they're going to give you a high dose. They gave me a 125 milligram shot, and within a couple hours, that was kind of gone. Even though I did a Thorazine shuffle, as they call it, slowly moving around. Thorazine makes it so that your head's kind of messed up. Everything's in uh, slow motion, kind of slow everything down. You got slurring your speech, drooling, and stuff like that. You're not picking your feet up because you're not really sure, so you're just shuffling along. And it's called the Thorazine shuffle. And the orderlies and nurses can tell by the way that you're shuffling how well the Thorazine is working for you. Well, my first day there, I got the shot. They gave it to me, and I was doing a shuffle. Well, after a couple of hours, I wasn't doing a shuffle. I was actually stepping, and that changes their attitude towards it because they know that okay, the medication is taking a hold, and you're getting used to it, or it's not taking hold, and the medication is wearing off on you. Either way they look at it, that means they need to give you some more, and they'll trick you with it. They'll say, David, we get you some orange juice here. Drink this. It's funny, it's instant, but go ahead and drink it. Well, it's not orange juice. You look at it, and it looks like Tang. And when you drink it, and you realize you're drinking a more Thorazine. And I figured that they gave me some more Thorazine, at least another 125 milligrams. And that's 250 milligrams within just a couple of hours. 250 milligrams of Thorazine in a couple of hours. I was out. I started feeling sick. I went to the bathroom and I regurgitated a little bit. Just a little bit come out, not much. And the orderly there was watching me. He says, go ahead, go to the bedroom and lay down and take a few moments And when you're feeling better, come on back out to the day room. And that's what I did. I went out there, and they have certain times that they allow people to go out and smoke. And they'll say smoke time. That means everybody kind of lines up. They get this cigarettes and things that is handed out by the orderlies or the charge nurse as you're leaving the room and you're going out to the courtyard to smoke. Well, not everybody smokes. Some people hold back. Well, this one woman, I say she must be at least 25, 26 years old. Very attractive, not too elusive in the head, kind of stringing thoughts together in a jackrabbit way. I mean, going from one thought to another. But she came into the room. She said she wanted to check on me. And she did more than check on me. Yes. She rode me for a little bit. And young boy, even though I had Thorazine, I reacted the same way any young boy would. I got excited, and yes, I wet my pants, and she felt it, and she enjoyed it. But we also got interrupted by the charge nurse and an orderly coming in there, running her out. But it was too late. She had already done what she wanted to do. It only took a few minutes. Now, I think she might have been in there 10, 15 minutes when everything had happened. And she got in trouble, but I got in trouble because I let it happen. So I had an extra 2 days staying there because I let this. I was being punished. I could not be alone anymore. I had to be up there on that watch couch. What I like to say, where they kind of keep an eye on you for the first 24 hours, make sure you're not going to hurt yourself or others. I had to be up there because I was promiscuous. Mm, didn't want to say that she was in charge of it, but I was supposed to yell out that she was in there. That was supposed to be my reaction. I did not react the way they thought I would. Instead, I was bad, I was wrong, I let it happen, and I enjoyed it. And I shouldn't have done that. Also, on that first day, I got fed Thorazine 3 times a day. And I'll let you know, I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks there. And 2 weeks, every day, 3 times a day, I got 200, 500 milligrams of Thorazine. Started out with 250, and they didn't think it was enough, so they went to 500 milligrams. Thorazine today is pretty much regulated. 250 is the most you're supposed to be able to get in one day. But back then, it was not regulated. And I was a young boy, even though I was small, I was pretty scrappy and strong, as every one of the orderlies would tell you. And but I was getting 500 milligrams of Thorazine 3 times a day. Since I was underage, even though I was smoking then, I was not allowed to go out and smoke. My time was spent inside the ward for those 2 weeks. I could not leave the day room because the only place to go from the day room was to go into group therapies or just consultation with a doctor or go to eat because I did have to leave the ward to go eat. The first couple of days, no, I had a food tray brought to me, limited. Like I said, they control what you're eating, but they also want to see how much you eat. Back then, I didn't realize all this. To me, I was just a young buck, like I said, about 13, 14 years old. And I kept having this young woman there, and I eventually moved her out of there because they could keep track of her, and every time they lost track of her, they'd go to my room. And my response when she came to my room was to get up and leave. And that's what I did. I didn't want to spend 24 hours on that observation couch. I hated that. Because, see, when you're sitting on that couch, you're supposed to sit up during the daytime. You're not supposed to stretch out until lights out. Lights out is about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Then you can stretch out. But once you stretch out, you cannot sit back up. You have to stay stretched out. And sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 couches. Well, I'm saying three because they'll have two lined up facing them and a third one with a back to it. The one with the back to them, they allow those that's a little bit more progressed from 24 hours, but yet ain't kept their own room, to be there and have a little more privacy, or what they call the woman's couch. So that's where they bring the girls in, they set them down there, and that's where they stay. They can't move. They can talk to each other there, that's fine. Because when you're talking, their nurses are listening, and they listen to the subject, how you're talking, angrily, happy, jokingly, different things like that. They're putting down your moods and attitude when you're on that observation couch. And it's very stressful. And if you want to fight them too much, they have the padded room that they'll take and put you in. But in order to go into the padded room, you have to put on the straitjacket, your arms crossed and things in there. There is no bathroom. You strip naked when you're in there. I want you to know that. You have no clothes on at all because they don't want to take a chance of you pulling your pants or shirt or something like that off when you get if you get out of the straitjacket. Pulling them off and use them to harm yourself with. Even though those padded rooms, there really is nothing there. You can run your head into the wall as hard as you want, and nothing's going to happen to you. You're just going to get a, more than likely a headache. Either way, that's the other alternatives to the observation couch. And this was at Jackson Memorial. And like I said, they put us all together. Now, the younger children that was under a certain age, I think it was 12 years old, they would separate them from out of the adults. But at a certain age of a child, 13, 14 years old, no, they'll put them in with the adults, even though their room will be with others of their own age. But most times, the others of their own age are still about 20, 30 years old in the same room. Bathroom privileges, you have to ask to go to the bathroom. And then when you go, there is an orderly that goes with you. Because they want to make sure there's no hanky panky or anything going on. But still, there was always this one guy there. Every time I went to the bathroom, he went too. And the thing is, he would take a dump, and after he got through taking a dump, he'd come out butt naked, and he'd start the water running, and he'd take his finger, clean his ass off, and wash it down in the water. He says this is safer and cleaner than using toilet paper. I don't know what his problem was, but he would do that. And many times after he got done, he'd stand up, take a paper towel, wipe his ass, and just throw it in the sink. Even though I know his ass was clean, but him standing up was more to expose himself clearly to me. And that he wasn't the only one. There were several others that would do that. Older men come in there and they would do their best to expose themselves to me. And I realized that what they were doing. And being young, I didn't know any better. I would look. But don't worry, they put stuff in your meals and medication to where you're not supposed to be able to react physically to it. Mentally, you can react to it, but physically, you're not able to. It takes a couple of days for it. It's called medical castration. It only lasts for a little bit, so they have to do it over and over. And after you get out of there, you don't realize, but some of the medications you have had this ingredients in there. And later on, people learn from others call it saltpeter. Army uses it, the Navy uses, all the military people use it. Whenever you go into a jail or prison, whatever, they have a milder form, but they use it to help control inmates. But that was my first time in on a psych ward, a mental hospital, in Jackson Memorial Hospital. I forget the floor. I used to see the fourth, fifth floor, something like that they were on. And you were locked down. There is no way getting out. You're not going to run and just get out. I mean, the orderlies had a key, the nurse had a key, but to the doors, but you're not allowed to get. You're not going to just pick up and run out of there. But that's what it was like on these wards. I can remember it now because my mind is cleared up. When I was making these memories, even though my mind was foggy, I would still be able to get imprinted. And that young lady, whatever her name was, whatever, come in there. I found later on that she was sent to the state, Florida State Psychiatric Hospital. I think that was up there around Jacksonville or someplace like that. And she wound up committing suicide. But she wasn't the only one. I don't know what it was about me, but women just tend to migrate towards me. I don't think it's because of my look, it's because I didn't know any better. Yeah, I have lots of them flirting with me, lots of them flashing me. Now that I look back at it, I can tell when those old ward dresses they wore, that they wore two, one to cover the back, from front to the back and tied off. Then they put another one on that covered the back to the front and tied off. But there was always a thing on the side, and usually they were not long enough. Or if they was, whenever the woman girl sat down, she was gonna flash me. She'd pull it up high enough for me to see her pubes, and I knew that they doing that deliberately because women just know where that's at, just as much as a boy or a man. Either way, if you want to know what it's like for people on the first time on a psych ward, that's what it was like. The next time I was on a psych ward, I was in the army, stationed in Germany, and I had lost all touch with reality over there. And that's for another day. I'm not going to be telling you just now, but I'm letting you know that I have been classified in many different ways. And that wasn't my only time at Jackson Memorial. I spent a few more times there. Judge order, 72-hour hold. I've been in there uh, because the police asked me to, or the judge asked me to. Either way, that was not my only time at Jackson Memorial. I look at my younger days and realize I really needed help, but I fought it every bit of the way. We all do that. We don't like to think that something's wrong with us. We like to think everything's all right. And once we have a chance to get out and get away from the doctor's work and their eyes, we go back to doing what we were doing to begin with. Now, I didn't do drugs. I did drink a little bit, but every time I drunk, I didn't throw up. But my stomach really hurt me for quite a few days. I remember that. But either way, I went back to doing what I was doing to begin with. That actually got me in there, get me upset enough to where I want to take my own life or strike out at somebody. And that was my experience there. That's a psych ward. Next time I come on here, I will tell you about my time over in Germany. Uh, uh, a hospital there that was in Amsterdam, where I got medevaced out of there, but I still spent lots of time there. Anyway, I hope that what I'm doing is giving you an insight about being on a psych ward, to have the psychosis be diagnosed. And this is the early years. These days, it's not as bad as it used to be. I mean, I go on psych ward, and 72 hours, I'm back out on the streets, no problem. I know how to play their little game, and they're all laughing and joking, having a good time, and just put me on back out. Well, this last time I went in, no, I knew I needed help. I got was emotionally drawn. I was down. I was done. I needed help, and I knew it, and I accepted it. And I still need help. I'm not saying I'm 100% well, never will be, but I realized that lots of the troubles I had was because I was emotionally detached. And I claim it like that because it's not a mental illness to be emotionally separated from yourself or your body or anything like that. What's bad is you don't do anything about it. You just go on with your life day in and day out thinking everything's all right until you get to the point where you have reached the end of the line and you need to have help. And it takes years to recover. It's not overnight. I didn't become like I am overnight. There is no wonder medication that can help you. You have to learn what's caused your problem. You have to learn to overcome this process, and I've gone through it. I would delve more into the process at another time, but for now, I'm going to say good night or good morning, whatever time it is for you. And I hope that you can take and receive some type of goodness, some type of information that can help you from my experiences. This is David, an ambassador for emotional wellness, saying goodbye.